There is a certain kind of man people misunderstand. He is not loud, he is not dramatic, he doesn't chase arguments, and he doesn't try to prove himself anymore. He doesn't walk into rooms with the need to be noticed, praised, or validated. On the surface, he almost appears quiet, maybe even boring. But he is not weak. In fact, he is the most dangerous man in the room. He is the one who healed. We grow up believing danger looks like aggression, unpredictability, or chaos. We imagine danger as the angry man, the volatile man, the one who cannot control himself. But the truth is the opposite. The truly dangerous man is not the man controlled by his wounds. He is the man who faced them, walked through them, and rebuilt himself from the inside out. The man who is healed no longer reacts impulsively. He responds intentionally. He is grounded instead of shaken, aware instead of blind, calm instead of explosive. His danger is not in harm, but in power. Because healed men are not controlled by fear, ego, or manipulation. They are not owned by approval or rejection. They do not need to win at any cost. They do not need to dominate anyone. They cannot be easily pressured, bought, guilt-tripped, or emotionally blackmailed. Once these things worked on them. Once they needed to be liked. Once they were terrified of losing people, terrified of being alone, terrified of not being enough. But that version of them died in the fire of healing. And what emerged from that fire is something steady, unshakable, and deeply dangerous to everything built on control. Healing is not soft work. It is not candles, quotes, and pretty words. Healing is bloody, silent, lonely, uncomfortable, raw work. It is looking at yourself without excuses. It is sitting with your childhood wounds, your mistakes, your guilt, your shame, your broken patterns, the people you hurt, and the people who hurt you, and refusing to look away anymore. It is realizing that nobody is coming to save you. It is realizing that the world owes you nothing. It is realizing that the old identity you clung to, the mask you wore, the stories you repeated, no longer fit who you are becoming. The man who healed had to meet parts of himself he wished never existed. The insecure child inside him, the jealous version of himself, the angry version, the needy version, the manipulative version, the arrogant version, the broken version that begged to be loved at any cost. He had to admit that he was not only a victim in his story, he had been a villain too. And that realization didn't destroy him, it humbled him. He learned responsibility instead of blame. He stopped saying, "This is just how I am," or "This is just how my life turned out." Instead, he began to say, "This is who I became, and this is who I choose to be now." That shift is where his danger was born. Because the moment a man takes responsibility for himself, the world loses its chains on him. He no longer waits for closure from others. He makes his own. He no longer waits for apology to move forward. He forgives and proceeds. He no longer chases people who left. He wishes them well and keeps walking. This man is dangerous because he is free. Healed men are not perfect. They still feel sadness, anger, disappointment, attraction, frustration. The difference is that these feelings no longer run their life. They no longer need to prove themselves through status, violence, or emotional games. They do not need to destroy to feel powerful. Their power is quieter. It exists in self-control. You cannot manipulate a healed man with silence because he has learned how to sit in silence. You cannot hurt him with abandonment because he has faced loneliness and survived it. You cannot control him through fear because he walked through fear already and did not die. You cannot threaten him with being misunderstood because he no longer needs everyone to understand him. A healed man does not argue with every accusation. He lets people think what they want because truth no longer needs to be defended loudly. It simply exists. He is dangerous because you cannot use his wounds against him anymore. He knows where he was broken, and those places are now scarred over, stronger than before. The things that used to trigger him now become information, not chaos. Instead of exploding, he pauses. Instead of running, he stays. Instead of attacking, he listens. He doesn't react like a cornered animal anymore. He responds like a man who knows who he is. And perhaps the most dangerous thing of all, he no longer seeks wars outside because he already fought the war within. When a man has not healed, he battles everyone, his partner, his friends, his co-workers, strangers online. Every disagreement becomes a threat. Every